I think we can all agree that California's public university system was created to offer higher education at a lower cost than the private universities. I mean, that's the point of a public university, to serve the public, providing an alternative to paying 50 grand a year to go to school. And I have to say, I've got a gripe about Cal Poly with regards to the on-campus dining. As far as I can tell, that whole dining system at Cal Poly is designed with one purpose in mind, and that's to squeeze every last dollar out of the freshmen living on campus, which seems backwards to me. Because shouldn't Cal Poly be striving to make it more affordable for students? One would hope, but the facts speak otherwise. Let me explain how this works. First of all, Cal Poly requires that freshmen living on campus buy the meal plan with housing. It's a package deal. You can't opt out, just pay for housing and feed yourself by buying groceries or something. You have to buy the meal plan. And I say the meal plan and not a meal plan, because there only is one meal plan. No choices, no options. If you want more food or less food, you're stuck with a one-size-fits-all Cal Poly meal plan. So what is the one and only Cal Poly meal plan? Well, part of it goes into a plus dollars account, which can be used at any food vendor on campus. Students get $550 per quarter, so that's $1,650 for the year. The rest of the meal plan comes in the form of dining credits. Basically, you get 8 credits a week. Each one's worth about $10. It varies slightly depending on when you use it, but it's around $10. Add it all up together, and the whole thing comes out to over $4,500. That's right, on-campus freshmen are required to fork out a month's wages so they can eat for 8 months. 7 if you take out Christmas and Easter breaks. So, you're a freshman, you're living on campus, and you've just started school after buying this monstrosity of a meal plan. What does it get you? Because for $4,500, it better be friggin' delicious. Unfortunately, you're blessed with mass-produced food made with low-quality ingredients. That's what you get. Let me repeat that just to be clear. Mass-produced food with low-quality ingredients. So, if you go to the deli on campus, it's called the Sandwich Factory. Your sandwich is going to be made on cheap, processed bread filled with empty calories. The wheat bread you get there tastes like white bread. You know what I'm talking about. The lettuce they use is iceberg, which contains virtually zero nutrients. It's essentially water and a bit of fiber. The meats and cheeses are ultra-processed with a ton of salt. So that's the standard of excellence across the campus, and every other place is pretty much comparable to the Sandwich Factory. As long as no students die from malnourishment, Cal Poly seems to be content with the food they're putting out. There are exceptions, those being Jamba Juice, Einstein's, and Pete. Those taste wonderful, but they're chains, and they have incentive to uphold their brand's reputation. That doesn't come from Cal Poly. Cal Poly has nothing to do with those anomalies. That's just because the franchise wants to keep their products tasting good. Now, let's look at the pricing. The first thing I thought when I heard that the meal plan was $4,500 was, how in the world could anyone spend that much on food in less than 8 months? I'm a reasonable person. That's a reasonable question. And Cal Poly has addressed this pertinent issue by adjusting the prices so that you can easily go through $4,500. Those tasteless deli sandwiches, $9 for one of those, which, just for comparison's sake, a lot of people voluntarily go to Subway and buy sandwiches there for $5. Now, if you go somewhere else, like VG's, and you want vegetables with, say, a bowl of pasta, that's going to be $13, thank you very much. And you got to remember, everything's crap. The pasta, you think of pasta, and in your head you think of what a restaurant gives you, and that's wrong. Because a restaurant, the existence of a restaurant depends on your opinion of their food, so it's going to taste good. Now, that's not the case here. We're talking overcooked, bottom-of-the-barrel quality pasta with mass-produced tomato sauce and broccoli that's been fried in oil for $13. Okay, this is on-campus dining at its best. I mean, you can go to Taco Bell right now and get the equivalent in calories and nutrients for like less than $5. All right, so I think I've driven in my point hard enough. I mean, the food sucks and it's outrageously expensive. But there's one more detail that makes this whole thing, it takes it from being just manipulative to downright criminal. And that is that at the end of the week, If you don't use all of your dining credits, they're forfeited. They're gone. You pay real money for 8 dining credits every week, and any of that goes unused effectively becomes a forced donation. And it's the same thing with the plus dollars. At the end of the year, any plus dollars left on your account are also forfeited. Now, am I missing something here? I mean, how hard would it be to simply refund the unused credits and plus dollars back to the students at the end of the year? Is that asking too much? I don't know. I mean, look, this whole thing is just bad. I mean, and the worst part of it is that the students don't even get a choice. They have to purchase that meal plan, or else they have to live off campus, which understandably isn't desirable for a lot of first-year students, most of them, actually. I don't know. It just seems more than slightly unethical when a public university like Cal Poly forces its students to throw away hundreds, even thousands of dollars in the process of food, just getting a meal plan. The fix is simple. Open up the system, allow students to choose how big or small of a meal plan they want, and for crying out loud, refund any credits or dollars that don't get used at the end of the year. I don't mean to insult your intelligence. This isn't the most mind-blowing solution, but that's also the point. The solution is obvious, and unless you have a thing for ripping off college students, it doesn't take much convincing to realize that refunding students their own unused money is probably a good idea. So, why doesn't Cal Poly agree with us? Again, I'm about to insult your intelligence here, but if you haven't figured it out, Cal Poly really doesn't have the students' best interests in mind in all of this. And that's the problem, because, as I said when we opened, that is totally contrary to the purpose of a public university. The purpose is to serve the public, and not to rip off its students. And I'm sure that Cal Poly isn't the only school to swindle its own student body. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if they're in the majority on that one. But that doesn't make it any less wrong. And don't think that this just happened by chance. They just happened upon this policy. The whole on-campus dining system was designed this way on purpose to wring money out of students like a washcloth. There's a word for that. It's called a scam. And that's exactly what it is. Look, I understand Cal Poly's strapped for cash with the budget mess going on in Sacramento, and from their point of view, the dining is probably just a way to bring in some more desperately needed revenue. I get it. But honestly, I would rather see an increase in tuition than this backdoor, under-the-table scheme they've got going on now. I mean, the manipulation is it's diabolical. And, well, we got to take a break. I'll get to your calls when we come back. I want to hear your opinion on Cal Poly's dining system for on-campus freshmen.